example, I proposed a part-time legislature. I proposed that our legislators only get paid like council members do, $600 a month. I proposed that they only do legislation 3 months every 2 years, and that any kind of job-killing legislation would require 2/3 majority, and that we would keep Prop 13, that there would be no taking away any opportunity. We would support Prop 13 and making sure that people that buy homes know what the property taxes are going to remain. And so I did an agenda release, and the next thing you know, my phone is going off the hook. I was talking with television studios and radio studios, not only in the state of California, not only in the United States, but throughout the world. I mean, I was on CNN, and it was meant to make a point and bring it to the Board of Supervisors for a vote to explore the possibility of doing this and working with the California Association of Counties and the California League of Cities, because we've all been hit by the state, and I think a common denominator is, let's show our anger. And so it worked. And within 15 minutes of the press release, we got a response right from the governor's office that says, you know, who does this Mr. Stone think he is? Back in the 1860s, you know, we could just form new states. So, I mean, it obviously went to the governor, and I received probably 25,000 emails. And I still receive emails almost every day from people when they see all the craziness still coming out of Sacramento. They say, where's the idea? Where can we go? But in as much as I think it was a valiant idea, and frankly, I think maybe the only solution to our problems with a state that's still addicted to spending and will continue to spend and continue to tax, it is an uphill battle, because you need to have a secession plan approved by the legislature, signed by the governor, sent to Congress, approved by Congress, and signed by a president. And I think with the political makeup of both bodies, I think that would not be a prudent way to go at this time. Even though I believe that if we could just magically make it happen, I think the state of South California would be a job attractor. And I heard from people that have already moved their businesses out of the state of California. One in particular, a guy in Tennessee, he said he moved to Tennessee and took his 75 jobs with him. And he says, Jeff, if you're successful in getting the South California that you propose, I promise you, I want to come back, because I hate living in Tennessee. I love living in California. I want to come home, and I want to bring those jobs back. So good luck to you. Thank you. Next question. Paul.
You know, in these discussions, I hear a lot of demonizing of Sacramento, and the reality is the people of California voted these people in. The same issue with Washington, that we have these elected officials,
right?
And it seems like, you know, the old saying, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And I'm wondering if there's a way to tamper that down and reach out and have more of more statesmanship like we used to have during the Reagan years, where, you know, instead of the evil liberals up there, hey, we're a county, we're part of California, help us make all this work for the state of California. We're all in this together.
I agree with you 100%. And we have such a partisan divide in this country right now that it's not what's in the best interest of the citizens of the state of California. It's not what's in the best interest of the citizens of the United States of America. It's upmanship and party. And it's ridiculous. I talked with Senator Presley, former Senator Bob Presley, who's a Democrat and a friend, and the state senator from Hemet, help me with his name, retired, Orange Grove.
David Kelly?
Dave Kelly, also a friend. See what happens when you get 57, your memory goes bad.
It's called sometimers.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So these two gentlemen used to go and meet with each other and used to hash things out. And they were good friends. And they, of course, had their pet projects that they wanted to show their constituents that they were doing their job, but on the major issues, they were together in voting and what is the best for the citizens of the state of California and keeping us competitive and keeping our jobs here and keeping us competitive and having a good public safety system. But what we've seen happen, unfortunately, is this partisan divide, and we now have really one party up in Sacramento that really can do anything they want. And I believe, like Paul and I once discussed today, that we need those checks and balances. You know, the two-party system is important. They need to work together, but they're good to keep each other in balance. I think term limits in the state of California at the state level have been disastrous on the state. And the reason why is that it has created extremes to the left and extremes to the right. And these two groups are not going to get together and compromise on anything. And as a result, whatever the prevailing party is going to be the prevailing governance direction that the state of California is going. I frankly think the state of California is going in the wrong direction. I mean, how many of you saw the television commercial with Governor Perry saying, "Hey, California businesses, come to Texas, we'll roll out the red carpet." And then I heard that Jerry Brown got caught off camera saying not a very nice comment about Governor Perry's solicitation of businesses, which, by the way, has been very successful so far. Not only are businesses leaving the state of California for Texas, but they're going to North Carolina, they're going to Nevada where there's no state income tax, they're going to Colorado. And people keep saying, when are our unemployment numbers going to come down in the state of California? And I don't believe they're going to significantly come down. And the reason why is the jobs that were here are no longer here anymore. We are devoid of probably 1 million or more jobs that have left this state for good. I think it was very symbolic when Phil Mickelson won the tournament recently and said, "I'm moving to Florida. I can't afford," here's Phil Mickelson, a multi-millionaire, "I can't afford to live in the state of California anymore." If he moves to Florida, he gets a 15% raise because he doesn't pay any state income taxes. We need to bring jobs back to the state. And I'm not saying that we let them all off the hook, you know, let them come in and dirty the air and dirty the water. No, we need some CEQA reform. We need to make it where we roll out the red carpet for these jobs and make them feel welcomed here and do everything we can to streamline them and make them competitive with other states. And until we do, our unemployment numbers are going to continue to be high, and our unemployment benefit numbers are going to continue to remain high as well. But we have a lot of work to do, and if the state legislature now follows through on their commitment to take away Prop 13, I think that would be a disastrous thing for them to do that I think will have significant political ramifications. You have so many middle-class people that are holding onto their homes by a shoestring, and if they have their property taxes doubled or 1.5 times what they are now, that could be the fulcrum, if you will, that will put them over the edge and lose their homes, and they will go to the ballot box and they will make a draconian change. I hope that doesn't happen, even though I would love to see more balance in the state government, but I know many of my constituents have been struggling, and if their property taxes double or go up 1.5 times, it will be the demise. They'll be looking for an apartment. So.
Do you think we're drifting away from the philosophy of democracy? And what would you do about it?
Do I feel we're drifting away from democracy? I would say that democracy is under attack. I think democracy is still alive and well in the United States. Unfortunately, our electorate is unfortunately very receptive to sound bites on television, sound bites on the radio. Our constituents, both in the state and the country, I believe, have to better educate themselves on the issue confronting our state and our country, our county. And if they choose not to, and they just keep picking the same people on the ballot where the name is recognizable, we're not going to fix our problems in the state, we're not going to fix our problems in this country. But, you know, I'm not a real strong fan of Obamacare. I believe that Justice Roberts was wrong in his assessment of that. I believe in freedom of choice. And by the way, I speak, when I say that, as a medical professional that owns a pharmacy that basically doesn't take any insurance. So I don't have to comply with Obamacare. My customer base is all people that electively want to come to my pharmacy and pay for the services because we're a specialty kind of a place. So I speak without any reservations about how Obamacare is going to affect me. But, you know, I'm also a Second Amendment rights kind of a guy. And believe me, we don't like to see the kind of tragedies that we saw on the East Coast. Congresswoman Gifford, you know, we have so many laws on the books with respect to guns that we don't need more laws. I believe we need to, if anything, I support, you know, more comprehensive background checks. I support, if you're mentally ill, that you shouldn't get a gun. And I believe that there should be some laws that hold owners of guns more responsible for the disposition of their guns. So I may differ with the NRA maybe on this one, but I believe that if a gun is registered to Jeff Stone, a rifle, that it is my responsibility to make sure that that rifle is put in a gun safe and I can only get to it, or a family member can only get to it, that I want to get to it. But if I leave a rifle in my closet and my nephew that comes over for a barbecue goes into my closet and takes that rifle and goes out and harms someone, I believe that me, the owner of that firearm, because of my irresponsibility, should have some responsibility for what's going on. So there's personal responsibility that comes along with gun ownership. It's in our Constitution that we have these Second Amendment rights. I don't believe that people should be allowed to have machine guns, but I think that the weapons that are available to us today should be legal. And unfortunately, people that commonly get guns, criminals that is, they don't go into gun stores and go buy the guns from a gun store. The gun laws mostly affect legal abiding gun seeking people. The guns that the criminal has, they usually get them someplace on the black market, and certainly, you know, our FBI needs to do more to try to curb the distribution of arms on the black market. But here, you want to talk about democracy and freedom, you see that you can't let little things start to erode because you're going to start seeing other freedoms being taken away from us. And you know, we pride ourselves in being the most successful democracy really in the world, and yet I think that there is an attempt to take away a lot of the freedoms and liberties that we all cherish, and we can't let any of them go. Otherwise, I think democracy is at risk.
Yeah, I mean, we've got about one, just these two questions, and your time's up.
Okay.
Get your way.
Solar panels.
Mhm.
They're very expensive. Most companies want to know that you pay at least $150 a month, which we do not. We want to own our own solar panels, which is very expensive. But the reason we don't pay that much is our heater is gas, which is extremely expensive. It's like $700–800 a year because it's gas.
Right.
How do we get around there? Isn't there a way that seniors can get solar cheaper?
Well, let me tell you about a couple of programs. Yes, a great question. First of all, if you are a senior that is low income, through our community action, I'm not speaking to you maybe, but I'll let you know that under community action is a federal program. We help subsidize your utility bills. You have certain income requirements. That's through our CAP program in the county of Riverside. But I'm also pleased to tell you that the price of panels has come down significantly. And we have in the county something called the HERO program. We have an organization called the Western Riverside Council of Governments, WRCOG. And if you have a computer at home, look up the HERO program at WRCOG. And what it is, it's a financing program where you can pick any solar company you want. And I always encourage people to get 3 bids. Get a company to come out and evaluate your needs. It doesn't matter whether you're $150 a month or $75 a month. But the nice part about this program is that they will finance your solar panels 100% through your property taxes. So you'll pay an installment twice a year. I did it on my home. And I have a large home, and I have completely zeroed out my electric bills, and I have an electric car that I drive. I have an electric car, and I have my CNG Honda out there. I haven't bought gasoline since October 31st, and I'm thrilled that I'm not buying oil and enriching our enemies overseas anymore. And I did a press release on it. I got the solar panels, the electric car, the CNG car. Through this program, you can also buy energy efficient infrastructure, and there may be some gas heaters now that are much more efficient than your.
At Riverside, we really wanted to create a small business that was for small businesses. We wanted to create a marketing company that small businesses could afford from day one. And so we put together solutions that are designed for you, the small business owner.
What sets us apart is a lot of companies out there say they'll do your social media for you, but all in reality they're doing is taking your information that you provide and they're just putting it up for you. At Riverside, we actually create the content for you. We literally take on your business as if it's our own. We think like the business owner. That's what makes us absolutely unique.
When we were thinking of the idea behind Riverside, it was really a lot of work because we wanted to create something that everybody could use. Today, most agencies out there are not affordable for small business owners. I know as a small business owner for over 20 years, I've always wanted to be able to access creative talent, design talent that the big guys use.
We're very passionate about not just our social media and not just our business. We're very passionate about yours.
At Riverside, we have talented writers, graphic designers, branding specialists, video and photo production services. We have everything that you need to get your small business online and looking amazing.
So, if you've been hesitant about managing your social media, or you just don't have the time or wherewithal to do it, give us a call. We'll do it for you. It's that easy. At Riverside, we do it for you.